What up, Cal fans? We are back with our favorite segment where we hear from you all. The Golden Tweets. Tweet, tweet. This is, of course, the Golden Bearcast. Almost forgot the name. Proud partner of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. I'm Andy. Got Rob alongside me. And we're jumping right in.
It's because we've done so many podcasts. People don't know, but we're podcasting.
We're podcasting.
We're podcasting. All right, Andy, our first one comes from our dear friend Sid. Welcome back. Thank God. Thank the Oski. Who do you think will be the standout players on the offense and defense this year? Ooh, good question.
Well,
should we go one each?
Yeah.
You got one on the offense?
You go first.
Okay. I think offense, it's going to be probably one of Tobias or Keon Grace. I think it just makes sense that it has to be one of them. It also really does have to be one of them because that's why we brought them in, to be a number 1/number 2 wide receiver. And both of them were injured all of last year and couldn't make that happen. But you did see them when they did play later down in little spurts. You saw the athleticism, you saw the speed, and the ability to take the top off of defense. So I think getting one of them integrated and as the real wide receiver threat is going to help Ott, and is also going to help Jack Andrews. So I kind of picked two, but
I'll just go with Jack Andrews. Dude, he was incredible last year. Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
I forget. Did we get the Maryland transfer for one more season?
No, he's gone.
He's done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's to the NFL.
All right. Yeah.
So it's Ben Marshall time, baby.
It's Ben Marshall time. Yeah, I mean, give me Jack Andrews having an amazing season. I know that's not somebody new to watch. I think the fact that we were able to return, I think just going back to what you said, to be able to return Keon Grace and Tobias Merriweather was incredible. So the biggest question mark will obviously be who's playing at quarterback.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to be a big what if. We have a known quantity at or known commodity at running back and Jaden Ott. That's the big thing for him, is just staying healthy. Do we still have Byron? He's still here?
We still have Byron. We still have Kadarius Callaway. We still have Javian Thomas. We still have Justin Williams Thomas. We still have Jamal Wiley. That room is stacked.
Wow. Yeah, that room is stacked. So yeah, I mean, why not? I just think O-line is it's going to be a bunch of unknowns, but that's the big thing. If look out for the O-line making a big progression, and if we can and have a little bit more of an innovative offense coming from Harsin and Rolovich, it would be really fun to watch. Would love that in the Wilcox era. It'd be great.
Next one's from Oski's Drinking Straw. Any indications of how Rivera?
Wait, what about the defensive picks?
Oh, sorry. We totally forgot the defensive picks. Mine's easy. Transfer Jaden Wayne. He's basically the guy you bring in to replace Xavier Carlton, and so he's a former 5-star athlete. Went to Miami, then to Washington, and then is here. If I remember correctly, we were in play for him when he left Miami, and it was basically down to us or Washington, and I think he chose Washington. But then Washington also had the coaching change, so just a lot of flux. I don't know the actual timing, but I mean, I'm just going to assume that he was there, or he was being recruited with what's his face, who's now in Alabama, DeBoer.
I was like, why do I got Ryan Grubb's name but not Caleb?
I know,
DeBoer?
and I kept thinking DeRuyter. I was like, it's not DeRuyter, but it does. It's one of those Dutch names that has the D in front of it. anyways, yeah. So Jaden Wayne's probably my guy, and by all accounts, apparently he's been amazing, size and speed. So,
well, I'm not gonna top that, so I'm just gonna go with Cade.
Yeah,
all in on Cade, baby.
Yeah,
all in.
This could be his Evan Weaver year.
I know. It hopefully will be.
Yeah.
Those are my expectations.
All right. Now we really move on to Oski's drinking straw. Any indications of how Rivera and Rolo's presence may influence our game plans? Well, so Ron's not going to have any football like influence.
We're not going to go for it on fourth down every single time.
Yeah, we're not Riverboat. We're not going full Riverboat. But to be fair, I mean, Justin did go for it on a lot of fourth downs this year.
A lot
compared to years past. But Rolo's presence. So I actually want to get Rolovich on the pod during the offseason because I want to talk to him about his style of play on offense because he's an offensive coordinator by trade too, right? His style of play is the run and shoot. Harson's a little bit more multiple / spread. So like I want to know like what the dynamic is. Is he basically there to like infuse some of the run and shoot concepts into this offense because that's what he's known. That's his offensive like style, right? So like that's probably what he knows how to teach and how to coach and how to, what he attributes to look for the most. Or is he just or is he assimilating himself into what Harsin wants to run and being more of an analyst and coach in that regard? I'm really curious as to how that dynamic works. So hopefully we can get him on the pod at some point this offseason.
All right, holding you to that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my. So that's why I can't answer that question is because I kind of want to know what that dynamic is in terms of his role. What do you think?
I feel like you should circle back on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll circle back to you. But Andy, you have any thoughts on that? No. Okay. All right. Anthony Baran says, what's the inside on the donors wanting to give full control to Ron Rivera for football? How's the QB competition looking so far? And who is your projection to start? We'll start with the quarterback stuff. So I haven't been able to go to fall spring ball this year.
What?
I was out with an injury. Dude, I was just unable to walk for a while.
What?
So, yeah. I have like a mild case of plantar fasciitis in my right foot, and it comes and goes every so often. It came up like right before spring ball started, and then it just...
My man's out here playing too much pickleball.
Yeah, I just wasn't able to move for like two weeks. It's good now, but then my left foot is like overstrained because I was overcompensating on that foot while I was trying to walk around even to use the bathroom. So yeah, but I'm like 90% healed. I'll be good to go by Saturday. But in terms of what I've heard from people and who I've talked to, I've heard it's kind of mixed. I heard Jaron, I think it's playing out exactly as you would think. Andy, just if you were given the premise of you have a talented true freshman quarterback and you have a former high 4-star, 5-star quarterback that never saw the field as a senior coming into this team as well, what would you say, like if you gave it to ChatGPT generically, is happening in that quarterback battle right now?
You want me to ask ChatGPT? Because I can.
No, I don't need you to ask, but just with your football acumen, like, what's the usual trends that you say when you have that type of competition?
Okay, trends. Interesting. It's not the question I expect. I'm not going to answer the question you're asking. I'm going to answer the question that I expected you to ask, which is like, where would you go?
Yeah.
And I think you have to look at your strength of schedule and therefore your expectation.
Okay.
I personally think that our schedule is the most cupcake schedule I have seen in a long time. And therefore the higher floor option is probably best in that scenario because you're not going to roll the dice. I think if you're staring down a much harder schedule like the old Pac-12 schedule, I'd say give it to the young guy because you're looking at like the person that's flashing more, right? Somebody that's jumping out and like having like plays there here and there, but then obviously with the younger guy, you're going to be like decision making, understanding of the offense, just getting your body physically up to speed, ready, putting on weight, making the right reads, understanding, there's a lot, so much more complex too with uh, different read option. Like there's just like way more complicated than it used to be back in the day. And so your reads aren't necessarily just passing reads, but it's like when to hand the ball off, when to keep it, like RPO. So yeah, I think personally, I also think Wilcox has a little bit of heat on his there. So he tends to gravitate towards the older guys more so than Fernando, right? Like throughout time, we've seen him go with the more experienced player, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that play out again.
My like, what's it? Other side of the argument to that is, I mean, he picked Sam Jackson, and in that, but what I'm saying is
Sam Jackson, because I didn't hear that.
Well, but I'm saying in that room, out of those quarterbacks that we had, right, to start the season, which was Sam Jackson, Ben Finley, and Fernando Mendoza, if he were to go with the more experienced one, it would have been Ben Finley.
Yeah, fair.
And he went with the guy that was younger, less proven, a little bit more flashy.
I heard Spav wanted Sam Jackson.
I mean, who knows? But I'm saying, the only constant across is Wilcox, right? And that's kind of what we're talking about here. So yeah. So maybe that's the case. But you actually answered my question exactly. That's exactly how I heard this quarterback conversation is going. Jaren comes in, has those flashy moments where it's like butt out of seat. You're like, holy shit. Like, I can't believe he just threw that ball. But then there's also moments where you sink back into your seat because you're like, holy shit, why did he throw that ball? So that's what you're going to get with a true freshman quarterback. At the same time, Devin Brown isn't going to be the playmaker that he is, but he's the steadying hand. And it's not like he's devoid of talent. Like he's a former high star quarterback who's coached at Ohio State for a very long time. Never got to see the field because of potential first round NFL draft picks that were playing ahead of him. So yeah, maybe he just needs the opportunity. So, and he's not as flashy. Maybe make some mistakes, but that's just because he's also learning a new offense. But he's not making like the deathly mistakes that Jaren might be making at times. So
I think the big thing too is like for Anthony is like the ability to read this. Projection to start is going to happen in fall camp.
Yep,
like
100%.
That's where you're going to start to be able to really read it. In spring, there's just too much, and we're implementing a new offense again. But side thought, Rob, Anthony is a physical therapist and has a doctorate of physical therapy. So it sounds like plantar fasciitis.
He's the guy that I need to talk to.
I know.
Anthony's the guy.
The wonders of the internet.
You just never know who you're going to run into. But okay, what's the insight on the donors wanting to give full control to Ron Rivera for football? I honestly, and I'm not like shitting you on this, I have no idea whatsoever. Like I have no inside information on that whatsoever.
We did talk about it on a different podcast.
We did, but it's not like you and I have inside information on this particular subject. We're just going off of what's out there on the internet.
Literally the statement that they wrote.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I do know that. I mean, Andy and I think, are in agreement too. Like, we are confused by how the setup is, and like who reports to who and all that. It doesn't seem clear cut and easy to understand. It seems very confusing. And then you see, we talked about this in another pod, but I'll bring it up again. Like, you see what's going on at Stanford, and it's just like, yeah, Andrew Luck's making the decision. And he's making the call for all the football personnel decisions as quote unquote GM. So that's kind of what people expected Ron to be, but it also sounds like it isn't. So,
it's so very Cal.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Look, to be fair about the Stanford thing though, the little asterisk, is they don't have an AD right now. The AD is retiring at the end of this academic cycle. So the AD is just there until what, like May, June? So this decision about Troy Taylor had to be made. Yeah. So of course, who's the one that's going to make it? It's going to be Andrew Luck. So who knows what it looks like if they actually had an AD in place, if he's still making that call, or if it's the athletic director. But hey, it was Andrew Luck who was introducing Frank Reich as the interim head coach of Stanford football. So, all right, a couple more. Jaron Stan, Cal Golden Usays. How are the incoming freshmen and transfer players transition into their roles, and how much impact can they bring? I think we did kind of talk about that with Sid's question, but the names I've heard that from out of camp, Jaden Wayne, Tristan Dunn, Dasmond James, and Jacob DeJesus. Those are the 4 guys. Honestly speaking, wow. We're not going to really know about the offensive line and how much they're going to impact until the fall.
Yeah.
Like you just talked about that, right? Like the defense is always ahead of the offense in the spring. And so I heard the offense didn't look great yesterday, I think, at practice, but that's why it's spring. It's a new offense. These guys need to get some more practices in. Any thoughts?
I hate to keep saying this. I mean, I don't know. His name's Jaron Stan. So yeah, Jaron looks great. I mean, it's spring. It's like if you were to rank all the practices on a scale, it's like spring is definitely the lowest. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of grasping at straws right now, and you're just hoping that you can see something. So Rob, like your analysis on just like why you're excited for guys, what you're hearing, I just think matters way more than anything I could possibly say. And then in fall camp, we'll obviously all watch the spring game, and there'll be a couple people, but it's the fall camp where that's like the start of, like, in my opinion, the legit competition. It's not, it'd be really weird if Wilcox came out after spring and was like, yep, I declared a starter. He's going to want to have an open competition going into fall. I just think you just get a lot more of that crystallization of what it's going to be kind of by the second to third week of fall camp.
Yeah. I think the best way to look at spring ball is not to look at the units as a whole, but look at the individual play.
Yeah.
Like, is the wide receiver beating the DB on the one-on-one? Is the offensive line in their one-on-one matchup doing all right? Like, don't look at the scheme, look at individual players. Quarterbacks, are they making the right throws? Are they making the right reads? More so than as a whole. All right, last one from Senator Ty Webb. Kick game still feels like a question mark. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's why I laughed.
Yeah. They did bring in a guy who looks decent. The Chattanooga transfer actually looks good. But our issue hasn't been kickers in practice. Our issues has been kickers in real games. So, I don't know. There's honestly, for me, there's no explanation. Because Ryan Coe, right, comes in. You look at his numbers from before he transfers in. There's no way you could have projected his kicking statistics at Cal last year to be what it was if you just based it on what his kicking stats were before he came to Cal.
Fun fact, I had no idea that Senator Ty Webb was from Caddyshack.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever said this out loud and where I got it from, but I probably shouldn't say it. But there was some weird stuff going on with our our old kicker that went to UCLA. That's Bagani. Is that his name? Bagnani.
Mateen.
Yeah. I think I knew someone that was close to the program. And they said that he was treated pretty poorly. And that's why he actually transferred to UCLA. I have no idea why we can't have a good kicker. There's a fundamental theory that I feel like our hypothesis for me in Cal football, which is what should we be good at? We're apparently elite at getting long snappers. Good job getting my cousin in. Punters were pretty good. But, like, why can't we just be like Stanford and have elite kickers like Cardi? I don't know. Why can't we have elite O-line like Stanford used to have under David Shaw? I don't know. I'm like, it's beyond me. I really don't understand it at all. But I do agree, like, what happened last season feels like a complete anomaly. Like, you brought in somebody that was legitimately good, who clearly had an NFL caliber leg in regards to strength, and just randomly wasn't able to make kicks for a while.
Just a couple of misses and it messes with your mental game, I guess. You just never know.
I mean, listening to Giorgio on, like, when I was chatting with him was
great
really
pod,
helpful.
by the way. Absolutely stellar podcast.
I just think he did such a good job of kind of talking through the mental game of kicking, and I find it helped me contextualize so much of what was going on with, like, NFL kickers and, like, other things, and just the way that he thought about things and approached it was fascinating.
Well, that wraps it up for Golden Tweets. We got nothing.
Nothing.
Andy,
nothing like it.
I'm on Twitter right now, so I'm just gonna. We've been recording here for like 2 hours. An hour ago, I don't know if you saw it on your phone. You probably did, but MLB just tweeted that Vladimir Guerrero has reportedly agreed to a 14-year extension with the Blue Jays.
$500 million, yeah, something like that.
Wow. What annoys me is that they could have just done this before the season started, and I would have been like, yeah, okay, like, Vlad's not leaving, and just given up on that dream. Yeah. But, like, now, it gave everyone was like, maybe my team has a shot in an off season's time, and now it's like, yeah, he's 14 years locked in with Toronto.
It just makes me
just stupid.
The only regret I have right now with the off season is that we didn't make the trade for Kyle Tucker, and I really wanted us to do it. I just think that, like, these guys aren't the days in which, like, these superstars are coming up to free agency. Teams are going to realize, like, do you see how many contracts and extensions are happening right now because teams are watching these guys get super good and having to fork out $500 million. They're like, cool, you're a rookie. I don't even know how you're going to turn out, but, like, here's $45 million for the next 7 years.
that's better than me having to, like,
yeah,
get into a what's it, a
14
contract battle.
Million. Yeah, exactly. So they just know, they're like, cool, I'll just take a flyer on $45 million rather burn that. If you don't work out, like, it's all good. And the players are like, I'm young, $45 million is a lot of money. Set me up for the rest of my life, and beyond that, generational wealth, all that. It's just fascinating. Anyways, we can have an MLB podcast another time.
That's another conversation. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you're still having more fun than I am as an Angels fan, so
we'll convert you eventually. We got a cool little Jung-Hoo Lee chant. I was with Eva today at the game, and Jung-Hoo was in the on deck circle, and I sent you that photo.
Yeah,
and I turned to Eva, and we got new seats, so our seats are sick. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, Eva, just say this. I go, Jung-Hoo, annyeonghaseyo. I just was like, is he gonna just turn and be like, who the hell is saying this? Like, probably poorly. Just, oh man, well, it's having a good time.
He's great. I can't wait to get out there. I'm scheduled to go shoot a couple games, so I'm excited. And hopefully he's not hurt by the time I get out there. Like, don't put that in the
universe. Goodness, Rob.
At least they padded up that area that he got hurt last year. Like, they did. Yeah. They actually did change that up. Like, they put more padding out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, thank God for that. Yeah.
Victor Robles, like,
yeah, he did that like the week after.
Died. He just died today. He, like, jumped into the netting, and anyways, it's just not worth it. But yeah. All right.
Well,
the Cal podcast has finished.
It is finished. We started with Cal and we ended with Giants baseball. But yeah, that's all the Golden Tweets. You can write into us for the Golden Tweets on Twitter. at Golden Bearcast. If you don't have Twitter, you can actually email us too. We love getting emails. Andy loves getting emails. Particularly because we got emails from around the world. We got it from that Australian fan, remember?
Yeah.
Last year. I wonder, I would love to talk to him. I would love to figure out what he felt after his first year following the Cal Bears after game day. Just like after the Calgorithm. Like, are you fully in now? Or have we lost you?
Are you out? Yeah. That would be a good follow-up. Did we lose you? Probably. There's greener pastures.
But yeah, you can email us goldenbearcast@gmail.com if you want to send us some other questions, comments, takes, concerns, or topics. But yeah, that's it for us on the Golden Bearcast. And as always, go Bears.
Go Bears.